Hexagon.
Games. This is the 2004 smash hit video game World of Warcraft, a game that, as its name might imply, is unsurprisingly about war. As you might expect, in this game players fight against difficult monsters and even themselves to battle for supremacy. But did you know that there is another type of war going on in this game that isn't about fighting at all? A war of culture. A war of justice. You see, despite being a game about elves and orcs, World of Warcraft has a hidden, dirty secret. A secret that the creators of the game, Blizzard Entertainment, hope never gets mainstream attention. What is this secret? World of Warcraft has a massive pervert problem. A problem that has gone essentially unaddressed by the company for almost an entire decade, essentially since the game's release. World of Warcraft has different types of servers that players can pick from. Player versus player servers for those who like to kill other players, normal servers for those who don't, and most importantly of all, roleplay servers. These roleplay servers are intended to facilitate what is essentially a form of virtual acting. Players pretend to be their in-game characters and communicate with other players doing the same. Unfortunately, these servers have spawned a new type of roleplay that the player base has labelled ERP, or erotic roleplay. Almost every single World of Warcraft roleplay server has been infested with this strange underground subculture of perverse activity. Strange sexual cliches have formed that perform odd rituals with each other, often in the public eye. Normal players on these servers typically tend to joke or just try to outright ignore them, but due to their rising population, they have become quite difficult to ignore. Some people may wonder, what's the big deal? And the big deal is that World of Warcraft is a PEGI 12 rated game, and such activities should have no place whatsoever. So why then does it? Why hasn't Blizzard Entertainment taken action against such a strange phenomenon that permeates their game? And the answer is simple. The problem has become so widespread across roleplay realms that if they started to ban the players in question, there would be so many bans that it would gain the attention of the gaming press. They would then start writing stories such as Blizzard bans Legion of Perverts, and World of Warcraft would then subconsciously get its reputation damaged. Rather than risk such reputational loss, Blizzard would instead rather ignore the problem and pretend it doesn't exist, hoping that nobody talks about it outside of the game's sphere. Whoops. In response to Blizzard's ignorance, a small group of players have united to infiltrate, fight, expose, and hopefully end such vile activities that damage this great games community. What you are about to see is video evidence of a 1 week-long investigation into such perverse activities on the European server of Zandalar Tribe. Viewer discretion is almost certainly advised.
Alright fellas, if Blizzard won't do something about it, we will. Should be a simple task. Just find the perverts.
Tell me what you wanna do, what you wanna do. Yeah, bad boys, what you gonna do?
I mean, I have never seen anything like this in my life.
Bad boys,
They are completely shameless, absolutely do not give a fuck.
when you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys,
No, don't give me that crap
what you
now.
gonna do?
It's too late for apology.
Bad boys,
Should have thought about that before you did it, pal.
what you gonna do when they come for you?
Mint. Masturbation Interruption Nonsense Terminators proudly presents Players Vs
Perverts. Part 1. Daddies in Dan asses. Our story begins with Dionysus, one of the major cities of the game. As a mage, I have the ability to give other players portals to cities. I was approached by a male human and 2 female accomplices who asked me to give them a portal here. I obliged. But around 4 hours later, I noticed that the very same people I had given the portal to were still in Dionysus. For context, Dionysus is by far the least popular city in the game, due to it being essentially in the middle of nowhere and providing almost no benefits compared to the other, more popular cities. For 3 people to spend almost 4 hours here, in the early hours of the morning no less, seemed strange. Too strange. I had to investigate what they were doing. Perhaps some cool roleplay event I could join in with, I thought to myself. Upon arriving in Dionysus, however, I was gobsmacked. The human females were half naked, lying down on the floor. The man, fully dressed in a tuxedo, was watching over them. I checked the chat log, much to my horror. Valeria is weak after what Walls did to her. Garanda tosses her dress to Walls and jumps in. Walls says, "I must say, not being on the receiving end does make this kind of Sentence ends. Instantly I realised they were up to no good. I quickly turned on my recorder and hid in a nearby bush, hoping not to be seen. But alas, as I tried to move to find their ever-moving location, I was spotted. As I was spotted by the man, I decided to approach the women to get a closer look at what on earth they were doing, and to not draw suspicion that I was actually trying to hide. Upon making contact, one of them quickly ran to the man. Geronda gasps at you. Haha, wow, I was just passing by. Yes.
My dress!
Don't mind me, folks, I'm out of here. After leaving the scene, I was given a private message by the man, telling me I had 12 out of 10 timing, to which I jokingly tried to respond that I was just getting reagents, and I was on my way. Of course, that was absolute bullshit, and I instantly went back to trying to spy on them again. But alas, no matter how much I tried to hide, they were onto me. I realised if I wanted to find out more of what was going on here, I had to come up with a better plan. Say hello to undercover agent Treehug. The problem is that Mcmana, my main character, is now compromised, and thus a new form is required. Treehug, who shall pose me as just a random low-level night elf, fits the bill just right. But there was now another problem. In my absence, they must have surely moved to a new location. Could I even find them anymore?
415 civic disunity in progress. Response.
Protection team at location reporting. Your social stable at this location. Unit 1065. Code 7. Unit is not understanding.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, at this point, I thought I was wasting my time. I mean, surely after being caught once, they'd be on high alert and not say anything too oh. Well. The tuxedo guy again, Walls, with the woman Valeria. I don't know what I had missed, but they seemed to be doing some sort of weird father-mother roleplay.
Stuck my hair than you used to.
Walls begins stroking Valeria's hair, trying to dry the strands. This sort of went on for a few minutes, until the other woman, Geronda, turned up. They went on talking about revealing dresses for a few minutes. Getting bored, I decided to phone back to Tyrion at HQ with the new intel.
Psst, dude, it's Mcmana. There's some people doing some freaky shit in Darnassus. Check it out if you're bored.
What are they doing, Lol?
To be honest, I'm still not sure.
Lol, describe it.
Okay, one guy, 2 women. They're role-playing, but it's really weird. I'm just here observing in awe.
You really are fascinated by degeneracy. Be careful.
White words, over.
After a few more minutes of talking about dresses, they decided to head home. Still being undercover, I decided to not so discreetly follow them, keeping an eye on what they did. After a few minutes moping around by the bank, they headed to the temple and finally left Darnassus. On the one hand, I was sad they left, but on the other hand, I had heard rumour of perverted cliches forming on Zandalar tribe, but now I had 3 names, and from those names, we could bust more of their crew. Mission accomplished. Days went by of nothing solid, until one day, I got a tip-off. They were back.